All right, hello. Now for part three of our design here for our automata. Um, Welcome back. Your favorite CAD teacher, Rodrigo here. By this point, you should have these four parts made and they should be in your folder. Okay, so we should have something like this. We have the eccentric cam, pair cam. Don't worry about the different ones. Just have one. I think it's square centered. You got what else? Shaft handle. I will put that in there right now. And you should have the round roller. Okay, so you should have all those things in there. All right, I just paused the video and I put my shaft handle in there. So I have that in there right now. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep making the. Let me show you what we're gonna do here. We're gonna make the automata and put the pair cams in there, put some followers, put the handle, and activate it so it can turn. We're also gonna put this these bars at the top, this assembly, so we can have it all connected. All right. So let me show you how to do that. Of course, we're going to open Autodesk Inventor, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with the sub-assembly at the top. So let's, we're going to click New, and we're going to do a new standard assembly English. Make sure you are in your, I believe I want this one. Make sure you are in yours, standard assembly English, and it should say inch. Okay, I finally got to where I want to. Make sure it says inches right here in your project. All right, super important. I'm gonna say it again. Make sure you're in your project, in English, standard assembly, inches, and create. All right, the top part of this has about, let me show you here real quick. This is this bar right here is a 15-piece bar, and then we got two spacers here on the side. So we're going to put those in, and two screws on the side as well. So we're going to put those together. We're going to make it an assembly. All right, terrific. So we're going to place, and it's the flat bar, 15 holes. We're going to put one of those, and I think I want this more in this direction. It's going to make me feel better. 1, 2, okay, and I'm going to delete these guys right here. All right, we're also going to put the spacer in there. So let's find that. We're going to put a spacer here and a spacer here, and we'll do okay for now. And we will put also a screw in there to go through. And I think that the 0.75 screw will be long enough. I think we can do the 1/2-inch screw. All right, so I'm going to do the 1/2-inch screw, and I'm going to rotate that in the Z direction so it faces down. Rotate it again in the Z, rotate it again in the Z, and then it's kind of facing down. And that one looks a little bit small, so I'm going to go to, I'm going to do the 0.75 screw. This is 0.75 inches right here. This one's a little bit longer. Again, rotate in the Z direction, put one on this side, one on that side, and okay, and I'm going to delete this guy. All right. One thing that is going to be useful to do is we're going to line this up with an axis. So we're going to want to put an axis going through these guys right here. One way to modify this is just to double click on it. Okay, and that's going to allow us to go to the 3D model. So we're out of assembly here. we're basically modifying this part. And so let's go ahead and do the center point around edges, that one. Okay, and now we're going to put an axis normal to a plane through this point right here. And what you're going to see is that since I changed this part was duplicated. It happened on this one as well. That's very useful for us. All right, let's go take a look. Now we want to do the other side. So I'm going to do the same thing. I don't think I actually did it. Right there. Okay, I see the yellow point right there, and I'm going to do an axis through there. Normal to this plane through that point. And we are good to go. I can return to my assembly right here and do that. All right, cool. Now what we can do is we can mate the axis of this and the axis of that. So let's go ahead and constrain that. We're going to do mate. We're already in there. Boom. Boom. Okay. Good times. I'm going to go ahead and ground this. It's just always good to ground something. So this one's grounded right now. This one can move. This can move. This cannot move. Okay, so this is on the same axis. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mate the top of this with the bottom of that. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Apply. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Great. All right. Now I'm still in mate, so while I'm at it, I'm going to mate this. Whoops. We constrain, mate, mate. Great. Apply. I'm going to do the same thing to this bar. I'm going to mate the top and the bottom. So let's do that. Anywhere on that face is okay. And click apply. Let's see what that looks like. That looks awesome. All right. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Well, actually, before I do that, let me just go ahead and put the screw in there, and I'll show you how to do that so it lines up, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. This one already has an axis because it's round, and I'm going to use the axis on this one. So let's constrain that. We're going to mate it. I want to flip it around. These guys kind of tend to flip opposed, aligned. It kind of tends to flip things around. All right, aligned is going in the same direction. Opposed means going in different directions. So if you find that it's going in the other direction, sometimes you can click on these guys and get it the right way. Apply. All right, so this is on the same axis. It can't go sideways. It can go up and down. Now, if I make the bottom of this with the top of that, then it's going to be stuck in there. It's like going to be screwed in all the way. All right, so we'll go boom. And let me go from the bottom here. And we're going to click apply. Let's see what that looks like. Good. Okay, so we got that in there. All right. Now what I want you to do is basically do the same thing. I'm going to pause the video and you guys do it on the other side. Okay, we're back. All right, so we got this done, and let's call this an assembly. So we're going to save this, okay, and we're going to call this follower bar subassembly. All right, and it's going to go in the folder. Save. All right. Okay. So we made the subassembly. Now we're going to open up our Automota, and we're going to attach it in there. Okay, so we're going to put that in there. We're going to place it. And we are placing follow bar subassembly. All right, so it looks good. I'm going to go ahead and rotate that in the green orientation, which looks like to be the Y orientation. It's going up. Notice the green's always going up. And we're probably going to put that right around here somewhere. All right, cool. We only need one of them. All right, so let's go ahead and attach this. And according to the drawing, it looks to me like it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be 6 over. All right, so we're going to do that 6 over. I'm going to drive things around here. Helps me to kind of get it placed where I want it to be. And to do this, I think we're going to do basically the same thing we did for the other one, which is we're going to make an axis on one of these holes. So from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're going to make an axis right here and do that. So if I just double click on this, then it opens this up. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and let's see if I can do that here. All right, so we might not be able to do it here. So what we're going to need to do then is it's not going to allow us to do it in this one for some reason. So we're going to open the, because it's already a subassembly, so it doesn't allow us to open assembly in a subassembly. We could open it, but that's okay. What we're going to do is we're just going to open up. This is the chassis rail 2x1x25, and let's open that up. So we're going to put a couple of axes and points here along this. So let's go ahead and do a point here. Centered loop around edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. Normal to this plane through that point. And we're good. And since we don't know the orientation, let's just go ahead and do it on the other side as well. 1, let me put a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just gonna zoom in on that so I don't lose it. All right. There we go. Let's get the axes. All right. And it'll update automatically, but let's go ahead and press save right here. And when we go to our automata, we'll see that it is already placed on there. All right. And since we did it on both sides, it's going to show up on both sides, and we can just line this up now. All right, so let's do this. Constrain. We're going to do a mate. We're going to use either the screw or the screw would work. The screw, totally fine. And so we're going to go there to there. All right, let's see if we can flip that around. Okay, good. And we'll click apply. Now let's go. Now we're going to mate the top. Well, let's go to the other side. This is where things might not work. Now, this is kind of assuming that this is perfectly, that the distance from here to here on this bar is the same as there to there, and it might not be exact. Okay, so we might have to do a little workaround here, but let's see if it works. Okay, so we're going to constrain, and we're going to do this one and this one. Apply. All right, so it didn't really work because even if I sort of maybe stretch this bar out, maybe it doesn't reach this or it goes past this. So there's no way to get this exactly on there. All right, so that's okay. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little. We just want to get that screw in the hole right there, and that's okay. That's not gonna be that hard. So we'll try something else. What we'll do is we'll do a tangent constraint, and I'm gonna get this face tangent with that right there. All right, cool. And let's see if we can get this face tangent with that right there. Okay, so let's just go yes and yes. And it didn't like that. Well, that's okay. We might be far enough right now to get that in there. So let's go underneath. And I'm going to get this. I'm going to mate this with that right there. Apply. Let's see if it's constrained. So can't really move it out of the way. Okay, so that is pretty good. If you notice here, it looks like we went tangent on the outside. So we're going to have to fix that one. Let's see where that one's at. I'm going to go to relationships, and I'm going to fix this tangent one right here. So now I can move around. Let's see if I can go underneath and take a look at it. Okay, this might take a little bit of fancy driving here. So what we can do is, I think we need to go to one of the side ones. So not this one right here or that one, but we're going to go to one of the side ones right here. So let's see if we can do that. Let's do a tangent constraint. Yeah, tangent. And then let's go from this angle right here. I don't know if this is going to work. This is getting tricky. All right, so I found it. It was definitely not easy, kind of hard, but I would manage to get it tangent to that. So it's in the hole. And if we want to offset it a little bit, just to make it maybe slightly more centered, you could find a number where it offsets it and makes it a little more centered. But that's okay. You can just put tangent. All right, let's go back to home. Getting dizzy here. All right, so that is pretty much in there, and it's pretty solid. Okay. So moving along, we're gonna try to put the shaft going through here with the bearing block. So let's put the bearing block. We are going to go 6 over and 2 up. And when you make yours, you can do yours wherever you want, but I'm just gonna arbitrarily choose that as where our shaft is gonna go through. So we're gonna need to put an axis on here as well. So let me go ahead and do that. And to do that, I'm going to open up the, let's see, the plate 5x25 holes. Okay, and let's put an axis 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 up. So we're going to put an axis right here in this one right here. So let's do that. Now I hope that this is actually not flipped around, but let's check it out. Let's see what happens here. So it made it up, made it up there. Okay, so we want to make it down there and down there on the other side. Let's do that. I'm gonna just delete this. Yes. And so we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna make it right there. All right, now go ahead and make it on the other side. All right, so now I have an axis going through those points right here, and if I were to save that, even if you don't save it, it should show up on the other one. I have an axis at these 2 points, so I can put a shaft going here or a shaft going there. You're just going to use one side, and someone else is going to use the other side, but that's totally okay. So this works for us. Let's go ahead and we're going to place a bearing, a flat bearing. All right, let's put that in there. And I want it to be pretty flat. It's hard for me to tell by looking at this, but I think I'm going to want to rotate it in the X direction. And then I'm going to rotate in the Z direction so it's flat. And I think that one's going to go on the other side here, but let's just take a look. Okay, so that one's on the other side. So now I'm going to rotate it in the Z direction twice. 1, 2. And okay, so this one is going to go, it's going to go up here. All right. And the other one's going to go on their side. It's way down here. Okay. So these guys are going to go basically right around there, those respective points. All right, cool. Since I already have a work axis made, and this is round, that should be pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and constrain this. We're going to mate this guy, mate that guy, and it flipped it around. So let's go that way. Apply. Great. And what I may need to do is actually make an axis on the other one so it's aligned. So let me go back to the plate and make another axis. If I just make 2 axes, then these 2 are going to be aligned right here. All right, let me pause this real quick. Okay, so what you see is I made an axis right next to the other ones so I can constrain that from rotating. Let's go ahead and go back to this right here, and yep, there we go. It's right there. So I'm just going to constrain these guys, and let's go ahead and do that. Boom. Boom. Right there. Apply. Good to go. I'm going to pull this out right here, and I'm just going to mate those 2 faces. So let's go ahead and mate that. This one to I can't go through. Oh, I see a peak of it right there. Yes, right there. Apply. Awesome. Okay, go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. All right, terrific. I got that now both on both sides right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a shaft through there. I have to put an axis on a shaft as well. So we're going to open the shaft. 12.0 means it's 12 inches long. And I want to put an axis in the middle where I'm going to use some of the symmetry of this shaft and the way it was made. If I look at some of the planes that are made, there's a plane sort of cutting through the middle here. So there's a plane going that way, and there's a plane, that plane is going that way, and that plane is flat across. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this one visible, and I'm gonna right click. So I right clicked right there. I'm gonna make this one visible, and I'm going to go to essentially make an axis through these two planes. And I don't need to click anything special. I just click on axis, and then I click on both planes, and I should have an axis made there. All right. So did it do that? Let me try it again. 1, 2. Okay, so the axis is coming out there. Terrific. And you'll see work axis right here. There's an axis done there. All right, so now I'm going to go back to right here, and I'm going to place that shaft. Boom. Let's place it in there. Okay, let's go to the front. Lift this up here a little bit. I want right about there. And I am going to constrain this shaft with that hole right there. Let's go ahead and do that. It's going to be a simple mate. Apply. One of the things you'll see is that the work planes are highlighted, and I did that, and I don't really want them highlighted. So I'm going to go back here and unhighlight these. All right, and now that they're unhighlighted, when I go back to my Automota, they are also gone. I can also unhighlight my work axis later on if I want to, but we'll do that later. All right, so this should be able to slide in and out and rotate. It's along that line. Let's go ahead and put the handle on here that you guys made. So let's place that handle. Shaft handle, open. I can't really see. Okay, let's see here. I don't know where I put it. There it is. Okay, I'll put it right here. All right, this one shouldn't be too hard. One way to do this is I can mate this with the underside of that. So let's look at the other side. Apply. All right, and then I can, so I did one side, and if I move it around, let's see. If I move it around, that side is flat, but if I mate, let's say that side with the other side of that, that should be pretty good. So let's mate this end with, let me come around the other side here. I need a little bit more top view to that. Apply. That is pretty good. And what we should be having right, oh, I pressed cancel. Let me try that again. So I'm going to mate you with you. Apply. All right, now cancel. Now what you're going to see is that this is going to slide in and out. If I turn this, notice the whole axle turns. That's pretty cool. Let's just mate this with the end of that, or flush it, shall I say. So this is going to be flush. It's going to be on the same plane. And so we're going to flush this with that. Apply. and now it's going to stay there and rotate. That's pretty cool. Good times. All right. Okay, I think one thing I'm going to do to prevent this from going in and out is I'm going to do a mate with an offset from, let's say, the back of, this plane to that plane right here, just any sort of plane, and do a little offset. It's pretty arbitrary, but it's just going to prevent it from moving in and out. So let's do a mate, and I'm going to say this is about 1.5 inches, 1.5, and we'll do this plane right here to that plane right there, and let's see what that looks like. Okay, so now it's sticking out about 1.5 inches, and that's pretty good. That's going to prevent it from moving in and out, but it still rotates, and it's stuck there. Terrific. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my pair cams and my cams in there, and I'll put my follower. Let's make the follower assembly. So we're going to do a new assembly, and we're going to use the round roller. Let's put that in there. What kind of want to rotate it? Let's rotate in the Z direction. I don't think I wanted it that way. Doesn't matter. We'll delete this guy. Actually, it's only to help you visualize things, to rotate them. It's not going to mess it up in any way. And let's place the shaft here. This one, I think I'm going to rotate in the X direction. And then it's kind of going in that direction. Good. Whoops. Left click. Okay. All right, let's zoom out. And I'm going to basically insert that in there. And I got to look at it from this orientation to do that. All right, so one thing we're going to do, a lot of people think that flush, let's say I want to flush this top end to that. That's not flush, that's mate, because this one's facing down and this one's facing up. So you have to use a mate. That is often confusing. So I'm going to do a mate, this one, to this one right here. Apply. Great. And let's go back to the top. And it should move in that direction. So now let's mate that side and that side. Sure. Apply. All right, let's go back to my original view. Help me visualize it. And this is coming out. Now we want it stuck in there. Well, there's actually a square at the bottom of this, so we could just mate that. Let's see, I want a little bit. This is part where the driving gets a little bit tricky, especially when this far zoomed out. I think we should be able to see it here. All right, there's the back square. I see it. Okay, let me go completely all the way around. This end right here. And we're going to do that. Apply. And we'll save this. as follower assembly. Okay, terrific. So now we are at the automata right here, and let's go ahead and place the follower assembly. We're going to need to put a spacer in here. Let's put one spacer in here. We'll just do one spacer and one cam. Okay, so we're gonna place a spacer in here. Now, as you know, we'll need to put an axis in here to put a spacer in there. So let's put an axis anywhere. I'm gonna choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 over. All right. So I'm gonna go to my. Do I have it open? I do not have it open. This is the flat bar 15 holes. Open. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just go with 6. Should be good at this by now. Or somewhat okay at least. I'm not good at it yet, but I'm getting there. All right, we'll save that. And let's go back to the automata right here. And we can align that up. So we will constrain that. Okay, now all we got to do is mate a face. So let's mate the top of that one with the bottom of that one. Ooh. Apply. And let's go home. All right, so it looks pretty good right here. Okay, let me take a look at a top view. Looks like we're lined up over the bar right there. And so we're going to put a follower in there to go down and write on this. All right, so let's do that. Actually, what I'm going to do is, I think first of all I'll do is I'll place my eccentric cam. So let's just do the eccentric cam because that's going to make it a little bit easier. And we're going to place it on this side right here, and we'll slide it in. Okay, I'll just do one. Okay, and let's go to this side. We're going to do the same thing we did with the shaft handle. We're going to constrain, we're going to mate this, and let's just say that. Sure. Apply. And it's, I didn't want to do that. So, all right, so this is kind of going all over the place. All right, now I'm going to mate that end with that end right there. So let's take a look at another orientation here. All right, so we're going to mate this end right here coming out, and I got to go the other direction here with that end right there. Good. Apply. Okay, so now what we got is let's go back to this view right here. We got this thing which can basically slide in and out, right? And it's going to turn as that turns right there. Okay, terrific. One thing we want to do is we want to have this thing be right over the follower assembly. This is actually not too hard. One thing is a little hack that we can do is we can flush or mate one of these ends with one of the squares at the bottom. It's kind of tricky, but there's a face sticking out on that side. So if we flush this, if you look directly from the top, if we mate it this edge with that edge right there, then we should be pretty good. All right, this is going to take also a little bit of driving, but let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to do mate that edge, and I'm going to come around here. With that edge right there. Apply. Let's go back to the top view. And that is locked in place right there. Let's go home. Now, if I turn this, pretty cool. All right. And it shouldn't be able to travel around. So it's locked in place. It can go up and down, but it can't go sideways. All right, we're going to do one last thing here. We're going to insert the follower and hope it works. Actually, we're going to pause right there because the bell rang. That's you guys. So I'm going to pause right there, and I'm going to let you guys finish up to this point, and we'll put the follower in later. Or actually, you could probably figure it out.